could have happened to anybody, but it didn't. It happened to us.
So The Dirt is the newest Netflix movie, and this is the newest biopic movie from the band Mötley Crüe. And it's based on the book The Dirt, Confessions of the World's Most Notorious Rock Band. The first character you see is Nikki Sixx, the bass player. Then you see Mick Mars, then you see Tommy Lee, then you see Vince Neil. But the beginning of the movies are when they are the peak of their career in the 80s. But then it goes to the 60s, to the beginning of the younger era of Nikki Sixx. And Nikki Sixx is after I saw the movie, I guess he was kind of the boss, the leader of the band. For a bass player, something new. But he shows us how he got to Mötley Crüe. And it shows at the beginning how he's a young child and get abused by his mother or by his stepfathers, the many stepfathers his mother had. And then suddenly it's enough for him. He gets out, he's responsible that his mother get arrested for child abuse, but seriously he just cut himself with a knife. But then he says to the cops, it was my mother, my crazy bitch mother. And then he leaves and never have contact with her again or his father. Yeah. And then he started to playing the bass on other bands, and on that night where he plays with one of these bands and the show sucks, as usual in the beginning, one of the guys who saw him live was Tommy Lee. And then he goes to him and says, hey, you was great show, you rocked as a bass player. and I have a poster of you on my wall. And Nicky just says, rip it out, this band sucks, it doesn't have any point. And Tommy Lee funnily has always drumsticks with him. He walks around with them all the day, all night. And he makes the typical drummer moves, and Nikki Sixx noticed that. And then you say, you play a drum, let's go make a band together. So we have Nikki Sixx, we have Tommy Lee. Now the thing we miss is the lead guitarist and the vocalist. And in the beginning they have a friend, a little chubby friend, but he cannot play really fast, so he cannot play with the same level tempo as Nikki and Tommy playing. And then Mick Mars comes, played by Evan Rheon, and he is suddenly the older guy of the band, the most somber, most depressed guy, because you find out that he has a really bad disease. It's like how we explain it. It's just like slowly cement grows on his spine and he gets broken inside. So it's like a really slow, painful bone disease. And that's why he's always so depressed and so always depressed and bad. And he plays, as you see in the trailer, and Tommy and Nikki is impressed, but in the beginning Mick is not really impressed to play with those kids, doesn't know rock and roll. But first, but suddenly he accepts the offer, and now we have Mick Mars, Nikki Sixx, and Tommy Lee. But now the only thing that is still missing is our lead singer. And Tommy Lee said, I know a guy from school. He called Vince Neil, and he plays in a cover band. And they go to a party, and we see Vince Neil playing some REO Speedwagon songs. Very fitting for this band. And he covers and has this high-pitched voice. And he's a blonde, just like David Lee Roth and David Bowie. And then he finds him. He gave us his tape and said, listen to the tape, listen to us. Maybe you're interested to go join our band. And the next day he goes to the guys and joins the band, and then it's all history. In the beginning it was not really Mötley Crüe. Nikki Sixx just recommended, let's call us Christmas. I don't know why. And everybody says, are you stupid? No, we don't call it Christmas. And then Mick Mars gave the idea of Mötley Crüe. But then Nikki Sixx gave the 2 points over O and U, just like a Motorhead. And then we became Mötley Crüe, the most notorious rock band in the world. We see the all starting of the in little clubs, as one of the clubs is the famously Whiskey A Go Go in Los Angeles, and then the Rainbow Bar and all the other famous bars or clubs who rock stars begin their careers there. As you see on the billboard, they open with Quiet Riot or Dokken or YNT. So other bands, you see the names and yeah, these going nuts. And then the opening and the very first gig doesn't go so cool because one of the audience, a woman and a guy, just heckling the band. And one of them spits on the $100 pants of Vince, and he goes apeshit and attacks him. Then Nicky Six attacks. Then Tommy Lee hits Mick Mars, stands cool there and gives one of the guy a kick, and he's still playing guitar. He's playing just like a brawl rhythm to fit to the scene. And everybody just going crazy. They think, oh, Mötley Crüe, it's just a really rock band, they're going wild. And then you see the successful montage of going to the club, take them to the top, and kickstart their heart. Woo! And living on the live wire. The movie is pretty fucking amazing. It's one of the most accurate biopics I have seen. They're not shy away to show the dark side of most of the bands when in those kinds of biopics. When it comes to the negative side of the history of a band, just like Queen or, I don't know, Rolling Stones or The Doors, let's say some examples, they always shows you at the top when they are, the bright side, but not the dark side. And here you see Nicky Six heroin addiction, Mick Mars liquor addiction, he always drinks whiskey or vodka to somehow ease the pain, and Vince Neil fucking through her whole Los Angeles area. And Tommy Lee, he's the kid and he enjoys every moment. He's crazy and also drinking, fucking, drugging, everything. So they really live after the motto sex, drugs and rock and roll. Because that reason that will show you exactly how everything happens, I guess this for me the most accurate biopic I have ever seen. So unfortunately, Bohemian Rhapsody, you're not anymore on the top. Now it's The Dirt, and it's a really shame for me that is a Netflix original movie. Don't get me wrong, I love this, but I wish it was on cinema so everybody can see the magic of the 80s, the magic of rock and roll, the magic of Mötley Crüe, and experience all that in a fucking great surround system. And it's rated R, and it's really rated R because you see everything. You see nudity, you see drug addiction, you see alcohol, you see Ozzy Osbourne licking piss from a pool. You see just the wild side of 80s rock and roll. And in that era, there was the most wild and heaviest band in the beginning of the 80s, because previously we had Whitesnake or Van Halen or Scorpions or Black Sabbath, but they're split apart and Ozzy started in solo career. So I just want to say that in that time, before the Big Four came, or Iron Maiden or the other heavy metal bands after 83, 84, in the beginning Mötley Crüe was the most wildest and heaviest sound America could offer. Still missing Nicky Six. Fuck. I have Tommy Lee, I have Vince Neil, and I have Mick Mars. Nicky Six suddenly couldn't make it to the review. And he's the boss. I don't know who is taking drugs or something like that. So in the end, I just want to say The Dirt is the best movie Netflix has to offer with Triple Frontier this year. It's the most accurate biopic movie I have seen. And for me as a rock and metal fan, it's just automatically a great movie. But be aware, if you're not in the scene of metal or rock, but you like seeing cool movies to play in the 80s and show some titties, you can enjoy the movie. But I enjoyed it all day, all night. So take me to the top.